Croeso pawb, today I'm talking to you about Ashwagandha, Withania somnifera. And you might be thinking, why are you stood by that really dead looking plant? Well, this is my Ashwagandha. Now my Ashwagandha plant is here, just climb over the wire, it's here in the polytunnel. So it is indoors, but the last winter we have had the harshest winter I have known since we've been here, and we've been here 6 years. And by that, what I mean temperature wise. So this winter, the thermometer here inside the polytunnel, the coldest temperature was minus 10.7. And it sustained that temperature for about a week because we couldn't leave here for over a week. We were stuck in because of the ice. And this has survived. And how do I know it's survived? Well, I've already dug one root up to make a tincture, but I thought I'd film it as I'm doing the next one to show you. So I will do another video in the summer to show you the beauty of ashwagandha in the summer. But I wanted to show you how to harvest ashwagandha because it's the root is the medicine. Lots of people don't realise that. So even though it's called winter cherry is another one of the names, the cherries which grow in these amazing husks, they aren't the medicine. Even though the rodents have been making a nice little pile in the corner there to try and eat them, they aren't the medicine, it's the root. But why do I leave all this here? Well, the reason I leave it all here is I'm wondering whether some of it will self-seed, where those little cherries will drop to the ground and they will self-seed. This is my first year, full season of growing ashwagandha, so I'm still new to this, but I wanted to share it with you because not many people are aware that ashwagandha will grow here in Wales and here in the UK. It would grow outside, but if you had it outside, I would imagine you would have to harvest it before you get the harsh winters, because the kind of winter we've had here, which has been really cold, really wet, I would imagine the root would have rotted. But here in the polytunnel, yes, it's been exposed to the cold, but it hasn't had loads of wet. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you me harvesting it and washing the root and hopefully inspire you to get some ashwagandha growing in your herbal garden this winter. So I'll show you now the reason that I leave these here. Hopefully there's not too much rustling over the speaking. So if I pull on this, whoa. Look at that. Nice bit of cleavers wrapped around there as well, bit of spring medicine. Hey, maybe they're meant to be together. Look at that. So that is 1 year's worth of growing. It's like the length of my arm. So that is amazing, and it smells absolutely amazing. And in fact, ashwagandha, which is Ayurvedic medicine, translates of smell of the horse, and I can kind of see that, but in reality it's mainly referring to it being the spirit of the horse. And the reason that is because ashwagandha is actually an adaptogen. So what that means is it will go in the body and work out where there's imbalances and bring the body back to balance. And also adaptogens are amazing to help your body through stress. So if you're someone that's feeling exhausted, done in by stress, then ashwagandha may be the medicine for you. Now obviously when I'm talking on these videos, I'm talking very general and not talking that it's definitely for you, because we're all very individual and we have different constitutions. But ashwagandha is just a lovely plant to grow, and it's amazing because ashwagandha, she'll kind of start life really, really small little seedling. Midnight's come to say hello, hello boy. And will grow really slow when you think this isn't going to work. And then suddenly, around summertime, she'll shoot up into this amazing big plant, as you can see, and within a year, grow a root like that. Now the other advantage of growing it in the polytunnel is when she sends her roots down, what's going to happen is the soil in here is quite dry, so you get a much nicer root. In fact, I leave Doc and other roots just grow in here, because I kind of think, well, it's going to be a lot easier to harvest. Although I've never given burdock a go, because burdock's difficult wherever burdock grows. But back to ashwagandha. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to harvest the rest of the roots, and I'll show you how I wash it and continue chatting to you about ashwagandha along the way. Okay, so I've taken the roots off, and what I will do is I will go through these and I will pick off all the winter cherries, the ashwagandha cherries, and I will dehydrate those for my seed in the future. But what I'm going to do now, I've got my bucket, and I'm simply going to take the root, secateurs, chop the upper aerial part of the plant off, the top part of the plant, so I'm left with the root. And what I'm experimenting with, so let me know in the comments if you have done this and you know whether it works. Now what I tend to do with roots, I tend to chop off all the legs, and then the body of the root I tend to disregard because it's usually gone woody. This isn't so bad because it's only a year old. But also it's very hard to clean to the point that I want it clean enough to be able to tincture it. But what I'm going to try doing is putting the body back in the ground to see if she'll regrow. So what I'm doing here is I'm just snipping off the legs, and there's an amazing aroma as I'm doing this. I find roots have a specific aroma anyway, but it's really good to make your own medicine and grow your own medicine, because you really get to know the smell of these plants. So then if you do have to buy them in, you'll know the quality and if they're the right plants. So you can see I've just got the root left there. So I'm just going to carry on now until the bucket is full, and then I'll show you how to wash it. Okay, so I've got my ashwagandha harvest here. That is, I think that was about 8 plants. So it's all, it's quite a big amount, but I wouldn't really want to dehydrate this and powder it, which tends to be how they use ashwagandha in Ayurvedic medicine, just because I'm trying to work as a self-sufficient herbalist and I don't get that much from it. If I was to dry and powder this, I wouldn't be able to work with ashwagandha with as many clients. So I'm going to mainly be making a tincture out of these roots, and I may explore having a go making an oil, because an oil can be really good for like muscle aches and pains, just aches and pains in your joints, even nervous issues. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to quickly just pop these in the ground, my little experiment, the little bodies, to see if any of them come up. So I'm not too bothered about spacing, because I don't think they're all going to come up. And if they do suddenly shoot up, then what I can simply do is I can just dig them up, because not much of the root would have grown at that point, and move them along. I noticed last year ashwagandha was quite a forgiving plant. Just dig those. There's a little bit of root there that I haven't cut, but I will gift that to the ground to allow her to grow a bit more. There we go. And again, just shoving these in. You can see I'm not being that specific at all. The main thing is the root is getting in the ground, covering the root with some soil, and then I'll water this later. So again, not being that specific. The reason I've left some of the stalks on is because come a couple of weeks I'll just forget what I've done here, and it will be a bit of a reminder. And there's a bit of nettle around that one, so I've just had a gift of some nettle sting, some nettle medicine. Now, there's 2 ways of doing this. I could have just left the legs on and given it a good rinse. Now, if it was really dirty, I would have done that, because I wouldn't have wanted to rinse it loads with the end exposed. But because you can see this is almost clean, because it's been in the soil in the polytunnel throughout the winter without water, so it's still very moist on the inside, still very much alive and vibrant, but it's quite dry coming out. So I'm just going to give this a very quick rinse up with the tap, which is from our rainwater harvesting, and I'll show you how to do that, and then I'm going to go and make some tincture from this amazing medicine. So there's the roots. I had a brief wash, so I will when I go through these, because there's the odd bit of dirt still in it because it clings on, as you can see there. So what I'll be doing now, I'll be taking this into the kitchen, chopping it all up and giving it another good wash, just to get the last dregs of dirt off. But you can see it's pretty clean. You know, that's bright yellow, that's what you're looking for. It's pretty clean. So as I said, I'm going to be making a tincture out of ashwagandha, and I've already mentioned that ashwagandha is an adaptogen and great for stress, great for the nervous system. And basically, if you were looking for a medicine to fill you with energy, vitality and strength, then ashwagandha may be a medicine that you want to explore. And I certainly recommend experimenting growing with ashwagandha here in the UK, because we need to be self-sufficient in our own medicine. We need to reduce our medicine miles as well as our food miles. And other things about ashwagandha, she's brimming with antioxidants, so great for kind of that lack of energy or even strength or memory that you might feel as you're getting older. She'll support the immune system, and also I find her having a great affinity to men, and particularly when they're going through the andropause, or when testosterone is lowering, or when there's any issues with sexual function, then ashwagandha can really help. And I think that's because she's working on the men's energy and also nervous system at the same time, and just that adaptogenic energy really helps. So hopefully you've enjoyed watching this video. Diolch am gwylio. Thank you for watching. And if you've enjoyed this video, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. It really helps me get this information out there. And my hope is that this information will get around and inspire other people to grow their own medicine, forage their own medicine and make their own medicine. If you want to connect more, you can check me out on my website selinawalker.earth and sign up to my free newsletter, and also hang out with me over on Instagram, Facebook and Twitter. I'll see you soon.